Bonjour, bonjour, good evening to every single one of you, and I hope you're doing fabulous, great, that you're glowing. This summer 2021. How you feeling? How you feeling out there? Because today, trust me, I had to take this off because I had to breathe a little bit. Even though here in England we have this summer, winter, all the season in one is horrible, horrible, horrible. But hey, we are here, and I'm so happy that you connected, that you're so faithful, that you're always there to support. Thank you so much. And next to me, we have an amazing guest. I'm gonna introduce to him. You probably know him. You've probably seen him. MC your party. It was probably your wedding. It was probably, I don't know what it was, but he was present. Maybe he is your friend. We never know. But please, only thing I want to ask you is share as much as you can.
Sure.
If you don't share, it's difficult to be able to reach the different type of platform. We're trying to gather as much people as we can, and we can't do it on our own. We need your help, right?
Yeah.
So if in case that you missed the last week on the previous Etincelle show, then you can always check on YouTube with gracia.s space sucre d'or, and the theme that we spoke about, it was Meet Me Halfway Part 2. We spoke about siblings relationship. I mean, it was about family, it was about business. And if you feel like, hey, you relate to that one, why don't you just go check it out? And you never know, like, what kind of, like, knowledge you might get from it, right?
Absolutely.
All right, so I'm just gonna give you a little short break. Don't go anywhere. You can go to the loo, grab your popcorn, grab a note, grab whatever you need to get, and then come back to us.
Definitely.
All right, see you soon.
All right, see you.
Et nous sommes bel et bien de retour. It's gonna be a live show, guys.
Yeah.
Like I'm so excited for this time, for this moment, because honestly, having you here on Etincelle, knowing a little bit of who you are in terms of a person, honestly, like my heart is full of.
You're making me feel.
No, don't blush, don't blush.
I'm blushing.
No, don't blush. Look my.
No. So it's an absolute pleasure being here. It's a pleasure being here.
Yeah.
What you're doing, your platform, and what you're trying to accomplish. So it's only right that to come in and add my little 2 pence and my little bit that I can add. So it's an honor to be here.
This great guy next to me, his name is Randy. Do you have like a nickname?
No, that's my name, Randy. A lot of people, the English people, sometimes just like to
spice a little bit.
I just call you Rands for some reason. So
is that why you have your Instagram Randy Rads?
Yeah, a lot of people just say Rands for some reason. So I just thought Randy Rands. But yeah, my name's Randy.
I like that.
I don't know a lot of Randys, so I think I feel
same. I don't think I've ever met a Randy before.
I know two. I know of one.
Yeah.
I know of one from Dublin.
Yeah.
And one I went uni with. No, I know 3 and another one. So that's it. That's really my entire life. I've met three Randy.
3 Randy. I've never met another one. You're the first one. So to me, it's an honor. So he is not just Randy KABSON, right? He is an amazing and how do I say the international, worldwide? I don't know how to say it, but he is an MC bilingual, so he goes where the water flows, right?
We go where the money resides.
Exactly. It's all about money, right? It's all about the speaking, the motivation, all these kind of amazing things, really, that you do. What else can I say? Like, Apart from that, how can you define yourself?
How can I define myself? I think you've said it all. To be fair, I was thinking about it today in terms of what would I qualify myself as, and I think what you said. Yeah, I'm a presenter, MC, host, predominantly known quite within the wedding industry here in London, within the French, Congolese French community, and yeah, we're just trying to work and then just trying to bring in something different in our culture and then trying to elevate the culture really, and just try everywhere I go. I try to let it be known that I'm Congolese.
Exactly.
And that's the beauty of it, you know. To be fair, being from Congo, and I remember growing up, you know, speaking French as much as we did, as much as we didn't like it. In terms of, you know, you got beaten up for not speaking French.
Listen, you can say this twice.
Yeah. I got beaten up. He tried to say something.
Yeah.
Est-ce que na cause en français?
Oh my God.
But now it's an asset to have. So it's a good skill to
I
have.
am blessed to to know what you just said right now, because that was my share as well. It's crazy.
So I'm in a nutshell, an MC, presenter, host, various events, weddings, shows, whatever, you name it. Have a platform as well online called Be My Guest, where we try to podcast/platform where we have different guests coming through. We cover different topics. So
like that.
Yeah, just presenting and really just making people feel good. It's really what I'm about. I think it's
all about the people, basically.
That's more about my personality, you know. Like I just love just making others feel good, you know. And yeah, that's something that I've learned to embrace, and I've realized it's a skill or blessing that I have. So
Therefore.
Yeah, I'm a presenter, host, vibes controller, whatever you name it, energy.
What you just mentioned?
Vibes control the vibes.
I like the vibe controller. You know, I've never heard about that word. That is gonna be one of my words now. Vibes controller. But it's true actually what you're doing, because you do control the vibes in the room.
Yeah, I try to. You have to. I think as an entertainer, you know, everyone's looking to you. Everyone's there.
Yeah.
So they're there to have a good time. They're there for whatever reason, whether it's a wedding, whether it's a concert, they're there to have a good time.
Exactly.
So, and it gets to a point where you have to navigate what's happening, and you have to improvise. Sometimes you have to come in and make them feel at ease. They have to feel like, okay, this is worth my time. This was a memorable. They have to leave with something good that they remember.
Exactly.
You know, there's a saying that there's someone that said people don't really remember what you say to them, but they remember how you made them feel.
Exactly.
So
the feeling is.
So it's about how they feel. If they felt like they had the time of their life, or they had a really good time, or you made them feel at home, you made them feel at ease. Because weddings or them kind of events, corporate events or whatever, it could be quite tense, isn't it? There's times where you're just sitting there, it's a bit awkward.
Exactly.
And, you know,
so you just know that, okay, I'm going there, I'm going to sit, I'm going to eat, and I'm going to dance, and that's basically it.
But, you know, you got to add those little stuff in between to make it...
Spice it up a little bit.
But yeah, that's basically it. Yeah.
I like that. So today, as you guys know, we're talking about Meet Me Halfway. Meet Me Halfway is all about it's all about a lot of things, and we've covered so far, right, with all my guests when it comes to this topic. And so today is going to be Meet Me Halfway part 3, but we're covering communication. Communication, something that is vital, something that is important, something that we cannot live without. And for those who cannot communicate, sometimes they do fail massively, and I feel like communication is touching mostly you in your department, because without communication, really, you can't do what you're doing. You said vibe controller. You can't be able to control without communication. It's impossible. So when it comes to what's it called, this title, I feel like everyone kind of seems to define communication in their own way. For example, like the dictionary tells us that it is the impact or exchange of information, and by speaking, writing, using some of the other mediums. We're talking about TV, we're talking about radio, we're talking about all these other platforms, social medias, a way to communicate. How would you define communication?
I think communication is just obviously expressing yourself and letting other people know how you feel, letting other people know your thought process. And it's funny you say that. You'd think I was always been a great communicator, but I think with communication, it's not just about you speaking as well. There's also the other aspect of you listening as well.
Ooh.
So as much as speaking, you have to also be a great listener. Because or else you just be talking at people and not to people. So you're just talking at me. You're just feeding me information.
Exactly.
But I'm not necessarily receiving it in any way. I'm not processing it. It's not doing anything to me.
I like what you just said, because a lot of people out there really do think it's all about just putting it out there, but not actually receiving.
No, you have to actually be able to, like, now you're speaking, I have to pay attention to what you're saying. And then there's going to come a time where I'm going to have to speak, and you're going to have to, by listening to what I'm saying, you might pick up a thing or two.
And be able to
then,
respond back.
So I think that's what communication is, letting other people know what you're thinking, and also listening to how they've received what you've told them.
Yeah.
And then you can just bounce back like that. So I think, as a good communicator has to be not just a good speaker, but also a good listener at some point. So
listening. I believe it's not always easy to listen. No, there are people who are they're practicing listening every day, because sometimes you're speaking, but it goes in here and goes out. So you're asking, did you listen? They'll say something else than what you basically have said. How long do you think like it took you to the point of speaking and be able to listen also?
I think, you know what, it's funny, I knew you was going to mention this. To be fair, it's like you mentioned, the key word there, practicing. It's all about practicing. It's all about taking constructive feedback, and you know, when people are saying to you that when people are telling you stuff, being able to listen. So for example, like in terms of myself, when I look back at myself, I realized that I was just talking, and I wasn't really listening to a lot of people. It's just like, I wanted to be the one. I wanted to be the funny one. Wow. I wanted to be felt. I wanted my presence to be felt in the room. I wanted you to know me. It was all about me, and not so much about other people. So it took me a long time, you know, to be honest. I would say I've only just mastered it, like in recent, like maybe just recent couple of years, to be fair. The ability to listen, to speak, and then able to listen
as well.
Not having to listen. And also, people listen to respond. Like sometimes you can just listen and not have to say anything. Like you can just take that information and then just be like, okay. But a lot of people listen to speak back. You know, like they're telling you something, or you're communicating with people, but you're just quick to react. You know, but and
even what you're saying is not it's not even in the line really.
No, it took me a long time, but thank God it's still a process. Especially being like a husband and a father, you definitely have to master the art of listening.
Of listening,
as you know, your kids have needs, your partner has needs, so you have to learn to, you know, listen
to balance. It's very important. So we're talking about communication, and in terms of you, because it's going to be about you also. So tell me a little bit of your background in terms of like your education, like a little bit for people to know. And my other question will be after is like, okay, you've chosen this path in terms of education, but you find yourself as being an MC. How this two connect?
My background. Born and raised in Congo, a few years back.
Long time.
Not really a long time. I'm still quite young, you know.
Okay.
As you mentioned, I'm a youth.
No, you're definitely a youth, Tommy. Like
I'm a youth.
I can feel the hair is shaved down, but yeah.
That's not by choice, though. It's not by choice. I had no other choice.
Oh dear.
But born and raised in Congo.
Yeah.
We moved here sometime in 2003. Came here. Studies wise, I went to school like everyone else, primary school, secondary school. Then I went to uni, did marketing. Just because my mind, I'm always creative. I'm always looking to know, you know, I always like to do stuff. I can't stay, you can't keep me, you can't
still in one place.
Yeah, I can't work. I'm not like one of those people you can keep working in the office. I have to be out and about, see what's going on. My mind just travels. Did marketing, tried it, but when I did my intern, it was good. Yeah. But it was more about office space, and I was just getting bored. By lunchtime, I was bored.
But why do you, if I can say, what did you even like choose marketing in the first place?
Because I just like the idea of creating. You know, I thought I was going to be involved in that project somehow. You know, pushing strategies and this and that. But I just got bored.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I got bored. Sorry, my voice.
Yeah.
yeah, I just got bored and yeah, so studied, did marketing, then I need some water. Sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. I feel like it's a bit tensing to be in
You know what?
Etincelle show.
It's the weather. I blame the weather.
I blame
And
the
those of you
weather
that don't
too.
live in the UK,
Yeah.
it's August now, and
Yes.
we're still struggling with sun. So
Sun, pollen, I mean, all this.
it's high, and
it's
I get
horrible.
really bad at hay fever.
Yeah.
So my eyes get watery. and all
Watery,
that.
I
So,
can see
as
from
you can
here.
see, so
Yes.
yeah, but my apologies for that. So,
No,
but we're
it's
good
okay.
now. So this day and age, you can't even cough anymore.
No, that's the thing.
You can't even.
You
cough.
can't. It's
You cough
possible
and
like this.
everyone related to wherever it is, but no, I wouldn't be here if it was that. But I chose marketing because I wanted to be involved in the creative side of things, adverts, whatever it is. But it didn't. It turned out to be. You know, sometimes in life you do stuff, but you haven't yet discovered your purpose.
True say.
You know, and once and then again, it took me a very long time after uni. Did my intern, you know. Then I started discovering that my purpose was really just working with people and stuff like that. Because while I did the intern, I would always find myself, because it was a sort of a school, it was a fashion academy. And I was in charge of
fashion.
yeah. But I was in charge of like outreach and, you know, to go and gain more students in. But I found myself trying to be out of the office more than I was meant to be in the
Inside,
office.
yeah.
And also found myself talking to people, you know,
more
than I was at my desk. So I realized, you know what? I have more fun. I have more. I am myself when I am around this. I'm free. I'm able to move. I'm able to talk to people. So I realized that the office stuff wasn't for me. So what else can I do? It wasn't until very late. The MC stuff didn't come until very late. I'll say maybe 2015. Because everyone kept telling me, because at church, everyone starts at church. So at church, you know, from a very young age, if there's like an event, a youth event, oh, Randy, you're front line. Whether it's music, whether it's keys singing or whatever, you're front line. So amongst your people, everyone kept telling me I'm kind of funny or whatever, even though I don't think I'm that funny. But they kept saying, oh, you're very confident, you're very this and that. Why don't you do it? And I didn't think MCing was a thing. I remember one time I was speaking to, I always say this, I'm grateful for that conversation. My good friend, Eddie Caddy.
Yeah.
So we're talking and he's like, yeah, you can kind of make money from this. I'm thinking, nah, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
You know, he's like, no, you can actually make a career from this. So
especially when you're trying to put that like in front of your dad, like mom, dad, I want to be an MC.
So,
like
it wasn't like, so it just tried. So friends will just, if they're having events like weddings, church, whatever, they'll just put me there and I'll just host. I wouldn't mind.
Wow.
And then eventually people started taking me in and it was a shock. I was thinking, okay, like you're actually fucking me. But then it was a transition though, because I then thought that by standing in front of people hosting events and stuff, or even like weddings, I thought I had to stand there and tell jokes like, oh, so the other day I was walking in Tesco, right? And so until one time,
like standing
I told a joke, and it's like I was expecting people to laugh.
To laugh, and nobody
then,
did.
like, everyone was looking at me like,
what are you talking about? Oh dear.
And then I realized, I went home, I was really beating myself up.
Yeah.
And then I realized that, listen, you don't have to be a comedian, like in terms of, you don't have to have prepared jokes in terms of, you know your lane.
Exactly.
So I was like, okay, I might just, so my strength is like, I might be there and just look at things around me, and then I might pick up on that, and I'll pick up on that. But I don't really like plan jokes to say, like, you know, for example, I mentioned Eddie Caddy, he's a comedian.
He's a comedian.
He has jokes, like, you know, in the pipeline, and he's naturally funny as well. So whereas me, my strength is more like, you know, being spontaneous and instant and just pick. So that's the communication thing. The hosting didn't really come until late. So I left uni in 2012.
Yeah.
Worked until maybe 2013, 14, and then I would say late 2014 going into 2015. That's when the hosting journey started.
Wow.
And then I would say we're 6 years in, still working, still building, but I think slowly but surely we're starting to be recognized in the community. In 2017, the community recognized me at the Best of Congo Awards. That one came as a surprise. They were like, oh, yeah. I was like, okay, cool, thank you. I'll take that.
Congratulations on that one.
I think the journey's been quite good. I'm quite grateful. There's a lot of people that I'm grateful for that always put their faith in me from the beginning.
And it's important to really have those people like on your side.
Yeah. So if I can mention them, like, so there's an event.
No, go ahead.
There's an event I was doing pretty much every year. I did it for I think 2 years in a row. It was called Passion for Motherland.
I think I heard about it.
Yeah, I was doing that. That was like my house, like literally that was my only event I was doing. If I had a booking, that was it. Booking. Yeah. But that came through Maya. I love this woman. That came through her.
I love her.
She's
amazing.
She used to actually, recommend me and, really try and, see how we can work together. And then from there, everything just went, I'll put it on Facebook and say, if you need an event, blah, 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 hit
Let me
up.
know.
My wife will share it. I'll share it. Friends will share it.
Exactly.
And then things just went from stress
Start
to
picking
stress.
up from one.
And then, we like how, it's continuing to grow.
Yeah. In terms of communication, for example, how did you find that? Because you just mentioned it, you didn't think it was a thing. So sitting down, for example, or letting your parents know, okay, you know what, I'm shifting from marketing to MC. Like, how was that that communication?
I left home already though, innit? So when that started, I already left home.
Okay.
But my dad was like a high achiever, so for him it was all about it was a normal.
He was a doctor, so I mean,
it was a normal reaction, like any other African parent would have if you're telling them that you're doing anything other than. But with him, the impossible was nothing.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't one of them people that would tell you can't do that. But as long as you had a plan on how you could do it.
Exactly.
So, and because I had a son, I left home, but when it really kicked off, I had a family.
Yeah.
So his concern was, okay,
how are you going to feed your family?
How are you going to feed your family? So as long as you had a plan on how you're going to feed your family, how you're going to make things happen for you, then cool. That's, it wasn't really a problem for me per se, because my dad, as much as he was a high achiever, but he also was about pursuing your dreams and making it happen. So if that's what you want to do and you've got a plan and it's making sense, cool. I think like everyone else, he's never really seen me up until maybe he would just hear about it and he would just. But I think he saw me at one of his friend's birthday parties.
Oh, well, he must be shocked just
and he see you and I was looking at his reaction, and my dad had a look in his face that you will know whether he's happy with something or he's not happy with something.
I think parents
and I was looking at him the whole time.
Yeah.
And everyone else was laughing. Everyone else had a good time. Everyone else was going to him and saying I'm this and that. So then that day he realized, okay, le petit a quand même
quelque chose.
He's got something in him, so why not? And we just took it from there, really.
I like that.
No, actually, before that, he saw me at my auntie's wedding.
Yeah.
In Congo. I did it. I was hosting next to a big
in Kinshasa.
Yeah, I was hosting next to a big household name called Joker. He's well known, and he was the MC at the time.
Yeah.
And I was hosting next to him.
Yeah.
And my dad was like, saw how it went. It went well. Everyone was saying, "Oh, your child."
He's doing good.
I think he thought, maybe it's auntie's thing. But when he saw me 2 years later, he validated. Yeah, he validated, and but my dad's always been supportive. Whatever it is that you want to do, as long as it makes sense. In terms of, okay, how are you going to survive through this? Cool. Take your risk and then he was big on plan B. What is your plan B? So what if this don't work out? What else are you going to do?
It's very, very important.
Yeah, he was always big on that. So yeah, he kind of took it. He didn't really have an issue with it.
Yeah.
Parents didn't really have an issue with it. My mum is just a kind of like, okay, laid back. My dad was the one that was like more front line, My mum's more of a, like any mother, she's very like protective, very laid back and
I remember the first time I saw her, very loving.
She's very laid back, very loving, says, just observes. So that's when my dad was here. But my dad was always the one that was,
In terms of communication, before we jump into this question, just want to remind you that soon the line is going to be open. And so any question you feel like, hey, buzz me or call, the number is going to be, listed on the screen. So make sure that you dial it, call, put your question out there, and even if you want to encourage, feel free. We're talking about Etincelle. It's all about enlightenment. So, you said something about your dad being you know, more upfront and always advise, or always like make sure that you have this you know, a backup plan, because usually parents, I feel like parents are the ones who it's important for them to do that role, and many parents don't really play that role. So that's why I'm coming with communication in terms of this time, this context, when it comes to our youth, right? Many youth don't have the right communication or simple communication with their parents, and there's so many ways to answer that. All right. So, but in terms of you, when it comes to now, what's happening? We're talking about social media. We're talking about all these influences. We're talking about everything's happening. What is this thing that is making communication fail when it comes to the child and the parents?
Yeah, I think in terms of some parents, I think quite a few of them are doing a lot better than before, and I think it's just the idea that thinking some things are reserved for children or for your child when they reach a certain age. Now, but I think communication starts from early. You know, I've got children. I've got two, a 5 and a 2-year-old. And there's nothing that I don't really try and explain to them, even if I'm not giving them like the raw explanation of what it actually is in terms of how an adult will comprehend it, but I try to water it down to how a child will comprehend it, so that he can, you know, he's not left with unanswered questions. Because if I don't answer it, then someone else is going to answer it, and then they may not answer it in a way that you would. And you know, so I think our parents back then, I think, you know, there was the boundary was there, but you know, it's like, that's your child, that's not your enemy. You know? You're not in the army here. You're trying to educate your child, so communicate with them. So communication for me starts from a very young age, from early. Even things as little as your child coming to speak to you. Oh, no, good, no, Nini. These things happen once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. Your child will then become will have some sort of resentment towards you. So I think we need to be careful. Those are the things that those are the little things like that started from young and got in the way. You know, I don't think our parents necessarily didn't want to communicate with us, but I think they didn't realize that they already, by the time we grew to a certain age, there was already that wall that was built up from young. Because every time I came to you, you told me to go away. Every time I came to you, you told me not now. Wait until you're older. God, you said, I can't comprehend. I don't want kid, or even my Cambodia. Things like that. I think that was wrong.
Even like shutting the child out, saying, "Oh, this is my house, it's not yours." So wait until you get. You know, like it's really.
But I think now, what failed was that, you know, building those barriers and rejection, a lot of rejection. That's what made a lot of adults now, men not knowing how to communicate with their wives, wives not knowing how to communicate with their husbands, because, you know, they've had that.
It's like a circle.
So I think how we're breaking that now, our generation, how we're breaking that now is, just talking to our children from a young age. We don't do in our household. We don't do that goo gaga language. We speak to our children, and it helps. You know, it helps them a lot. Like our 2-year-old is very well spoken, very chatty, and very open with her ideas, and you know, and so is our 5-year-old. He's very understanding. That's all credit to my wife, to be fair, because she was just communicating with them from a very young age. Non-stop. And I think one advice I can give to our Congolese parents is that yes, your child is not really your friend per se in terms of pally, because there needs to be some sort of boundaries. There needs to be a line to know that there's parent-child. But if your child has questions, you know, answer it in the best way possible. Don't leave it until they have to go. Don't make them feel like they have to go outside and find
to get the answer. Exactly.
Because, you know, you don't know what the other person is telling you. You know. So I think now, in terms of, I think some of it is getting better now. Some of it is getting better, but I think it's also up to us to teach our parents to say, nah, mum, dad, that's not how it should roll. That's not how. It's hard, but listen, they're getting older now. You know, they don't really have a lot to say now. They're in their late 50s, 60s. So
I agree.
Kind of like, listen.
I agree.
Just this, yeah. So.
Yeah, they still have their ego though. You know, I still know some parents who still like they look at you like, yeah, you have a baby, it's true, but I'm still your dad. I'm still your parents.
They're gonna do that. They're gonna do that because it's that sense of entitlement, isn't it? They gave birth to you. They feel like, you know, they own your rights, they own everything. But
exactly.
Like I said, that's where what we said at the beginning. It's about communication is not just about you speaking, it's also about you listening.
Exactly.
You know, I think great communicators are people that just speak well, but they're also great at listening.
Exactly.
And when you're able to listen, process information, and then feed it back to the person that you're talking to, so a lot of our parents were great speakers. They were just speaking. So when I went back to
and expect you to listen. Yeah.
When I went back to saying, it got to a point where they were just talking at you, because a lot of us weren't listening anymore. They were just talking. It's like they were talking to a brick wall. You weren't listening anymore.
No.
But I think, you know, now is that stage where we have to work together and realize, you know, okay, you're saying this, you're saying that. Let's listen to each other. Let's listen to one another. That's how we're going to be great, you know. That's how we're going to... I love seeing a good parent and child relationship, especially even at teenage age and adult age, you know, where, you know, the father and the son or the daughter have a great working relationship. When you look at people like that, don't really care about, you know, they're really good in society.
Exactly.
And they don't really, nothing phases them. A girl that has a great bond with her father isn't really phased by a man giving her certain compliments, or a guy that's got a great relationship with his dad, his mum, is a better man in society. So when you take care of the social and when you take care of the home aspect of things, it has an impact on the social aspect of things.
I agree. Talking about like way of communication, some people or some parents still believe that their way of communication, because they see that their child is not listening, is by using their hands. You know, and it's just like, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. But why do you think it doesn't work? Yeah, why do you think it didn't work?
For anything that you do, like that, it's not meant to teach you anything. Okay, when you think about it, so bête à mon tombata, ou frapper quelqu'un, avec ceinture, tout ça, technically, it just builds, anger and frustration, and it will just scar that child. Wounds. And for me personally, I got hit in all the ways that you can name. I got hit by appointment. I'm telling you, listen, they'll tell me I'm going to work. When I come back, this is what's going to happen. You know. And I got hit, cried, it hurt, whatever. But it didn't stop me from going back and doing the same thing again, because I just knew I got hit. It got to a point where, give this hand, I'll give that hand, and then when you finish, I'll say thank you, and I move. And I think that day, that's when my dad kind of realized that's it. Oh, wow. It doesn't work. Me personally, I'm saying this out loud now with my chest. It does not work.
It doesn't work.
Speaking, obviously, even though I do agree that some kids need a bit of two fingers.
Comme on dit, celui qui châtie bien aime bien.
Not like hitting them like with belt or anything. Okay. No, I'm just talking about, like, you know, the whole hitting thing for me, it doesn't work.
Okay.
Yeah? Even though some kids...
On that one, someone is saying 50-50.
Nah, like I said, like 50-50, but that 50 will become 60, 70, 30. Then before you know it, we've seen many cases of children dying because they're being hit, they're being abused. You know, that's abuse. But I think the hitting thing does not work. You know, it's one thing I don't know, giving... How can I say this? I just think if you do it long term, it doesn't work. For me, it didn't work for me.
Okay.
So I don't know a lot of people that will say the same thing, that it didn't work for them. Me being hit, however I was hit, didn't stop me for whatever I was doing. It's not a solution.
So you think communication then is better than hitting?
You got as a parent, what you need to realize is there's nothing that's going to be a quick fix. It's a long term job. You're always going to be speaking as a parent. There's not going to be a time where you're not going to be speaking.
Exactly.
You're always going to be speaking. There's going to be times where you might raise your voice. Communicating might mean you might have to raise your voice. You might have to lower it. But the whole hitting thing doesn't work. That's an old school mentality. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work for me. It doesn't work.
Okay. Well, we're going to let people...
Don't work.
Please, 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 don't just text. Feel free to call, all right? We want to discuss. We're going to discuss communication in this century, communication in this time. So I mentioned TV, I mentioned radio, I mentioned social media in terms of communication. And I just feel like these platforms, if you want to put something out there, it's going to go around and the message will be heard, because it's a faster way to really like push the communication out there. So in terms of TV. Do you think it's a negative thing, a positive
what you
thing?
Got to realize is that a lot of our children nowadays aren't really watching TV. They're really like on YouTube. They're really on TikTok. They're on TikTok.
Okay.
They're on all these devices.
Yeah.
So it's really important for you to know who they're talking to, what they're doing, what games are they playing. Those are the things that, you know, is conditioning our children or conditioning us. You know, what we see, the more you see it, the more you're going to be intrigued to know, you know, the more you listen to certain things, the more you watch certain things, it's going to condition your mind.
Not cut you, but another person will probably say, like, I trust my children, then I don't need really to be
I'm not in the business, I'm not in the business of teaching anyone how to be a parent, but I'm just saying, if you're a responsible parent and your child is of a certain age in terms of from a young age until, even if they if they're in their teens or whatever, you have to kind of know what they're doing. You have to know what they're getting up to, man. We've seen many cases of children going online and you know, being groomed to do certain things.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
You can't, if you trust your child, then you trust your child, innit? But for me, like, I got to keep an eye on, you know, what game my child is playing.
Yes.
I'm not saying I'm there, like, but I got to know. I got to know what they're playing. And listen, I'll give you an example, right?
Yeah.
So my son,
oh wow, sorry to say, the comment here is wild, but yeah, I'll mention it later.
My son's there, you know, playing certain games that he knows we've told him not to play because of the age. Yeah. So we said he can play when he reaches a certain age, or he's there watching, I don't know, rap songs, which he's heard on the radio because he's driving with his mum, school runs, whatever. He's heard those songs, so he's watching rap.
So it's easy for him to just repeat it.
Yeah, but it may not necessarily be, because he's just gone on YouTube. He can spell now, and he knows, you know, he's typing the title of the song.
He's a big one.
Yeah. So it may not necessarily be the clean version, or it may not necessarily be appropriate for him, but
because he heard,
we've caught him a couple of times now, and he's tried to switch it off. But rather than us. And what some African parents will do now, they probably would have hit him there because he's hiding. But what I said to him is, it's okay. I'd rather catch you doing that. I'd rather you be comfortable in your house and doing that, and me coming to say you can't do that, rather than you pretending you weren't doing anything.
Exactly.
And then be a hypocrite. I've done it once, twice, 3 times, and he's confident. He's confident now that he understands what he can do and what he can't do in the house. And if he gets caught, like certain times I said to him, he can't play PlayStation Monday to Friday. He can only play it from Friday evening, Saturdays, and then maybe Sunday morning, because Sunday evening we're getting ready to school again. So sometimes when he's playing it on a day that I've told him he can't play it, you know, he wake up early, I don't know, maybe Thursday or something, and he's playing, or come downstairs, he's trying to pretend like he wants You communicate to him, you explain to him why he's not allowed to do it that way. And stuff
so he can understand.
So he can understand.
I think the why is usually being shut from children. It's not really helping, because if you cannot explain the why of the situation, they won't be able to team up with you. You shall mean.
By all means, trust your kids. I'm not in the business of telling people how to be their parent or how to, you know, I'm not there to give you parenting lessons, but monitor what your children are doing. Online, it's more dangerous than you think. You know, children are getting groomed from everywhere. From TikTok, from Snapchat, from everywhere that you can imagine. Obviously, that, you know, you might just think, oh, they're just talking to their friend, or they're just doing that and the other. This game doesn't have an impact. But trust me, the more they see that stuff, the more conditioned they are. Like, children learn from everything. Like my son, for example, I keep talking about him because that's a tangible example. Of course, he's obsessed with football. So he has his favorite footballers, and he wants the same hairstyles. He wants the same. He's been asking me about. He asked me one day about.
Who does he? He
asked me about Chelsea.
Wow! Yes.
About even Chelsea.
No, I like him.
He's asked me about earrings. He's asked me about
earrings.
Yeah, but not because he doesn't know. He's just seen footballers with it, and he's trying to understand. Okay, why come they? You know, and you've got to give him an explanation. You got to, but that's the part that we missed. We missed when we was younger, because if that was us growing up back then, we would have got told, you know, you can't do that. Probably would have been slapped. Hey, below my toy. Is that before you? Is that a boy? Is that a boy? No, just explain to him.
Yeah, why your trousers down? Yeah. It's supposed to be up. Or
I'll say this now. I'll say it openly. what a lot of the older generation, our parents' generation, a lot of them raise
older generation need to wake up.
They raise a lot of hypocrites. They raise a lot of hypocrites.
Yeah.
Pretending to be something at home, and then there's something else outside. And then when you find that information, you're in shock because you're thinking, no, that could never be my child. No, that is that is very well your child. Because, you know, you raise a hypocrite.
Actually, on that one, I've seen a lot of young girls, you know, at home dressing smart, you know, blue, white shirts, you know, the skirt from school. But as soon as they leave the house and they're going to pick up their friend to their house, the skirt goes a little bit up. You know, they want a bit that sexability situation, but you're too young for it. But you know,
it's like even things
you know
like
at home that you can't do that.
Like it's just, like I said, it's each to their own, and everyone has their way, whatever they want to do, how they want to parent, how they want to do what they want to do. But you've got to monitor these things. You got to communicate. You got to talk to them. You got to. It helps. It's going to help them be better people tomorrow.
What do you think, like, really in this generation, parents, when it comes to communication, meaning parents are lacking? Give me points. Like, you think like they really lacking.
Understanding. They don't understand.
Okay.
They don't understand the culture. They don't understand that, you know, they've lived in the UK for integration, the lack of integration. A lot of our parents didn't integrate. Not just with us, even with society. Look at parents, a lot of people that have been here for 35 plus years, but they've got nothing to show for the 35 plus years that they've been here. No assets, nothing. But they missed all the opportunities where getting a mortgage was cheaper. They missed opportunities where opening a business was much easier. Getting a loan was much easier. Getting this and that. They missed all these opportunities. They lived in the UK, but they've retained that mindset of back home.
Crazy.
You see it in how we know it is turning up to parties late. Not, you know, turning up to parties late, turning up to appointments late, getting not really, like, I see it sometimes. I'm at weddings and there's a guest list, there's a seating plan. They've told you you're going to sit here, and you're getting upset at the people that have organized their day and they've had a seating plan. You're not understanding why you can't sit with your friends. No, because that's integration. That's what happens. Oh, wow. This is not back home where you just turn up.
Yeah, and you just sit anywhere where you want.
So lack of integration has failed a lot of our parents. You know, they didn't want to. They didn't want to integrate. They wanted to keep their values of back home. We saw Namboka and culture. Like some of my sisters will say, a lot of cultures killed our people in terms of mentally. They didn't integrate.
Yeah.
They didn't integrate. They don't understand the art of ownership. Because to them, staying in benefits and getting a council to pay for their property was much cheaper.
So especially
than them becoming owners.
This council situation is crazy.
So integration, lack of integration has failed them. Lack of integration has failed them. The minute our parents start integrating themselves and then start understanding the culture, because understanding this culture, because yes, you're raising a child that's got Congolese blood, and you're trying to give them those Congolese values, you got to also understand that child goes to school in the UK.
Exactly.
So that child is going to meet Bob, that child is going to meet Dwayne, that child is going to meet Shaniqua and this and that, who's from Ghana, Jamaica, and whatever, and have all of these things and be exposed to all of these cultures.
Exactly.
Yeah? Unlike where if they were being raised in Congo, they're just going to meet a Mongala, Mkongo, Mutitela, which is, they're still Congolese. They speak the same language in terms of, they're going to speak some of the same language like Lingala or French, but they're still going to understand the same culture, listen to the same music, Iva Kofiji, Bewera, blah, blah, blah. Whereas here, they're exposed to different cultures, different things. Yeah? This one's from Ghana, this one's from Nigeria, this one's from, I don't know, Jamaica. This one. So all of that's going to have a sort of some kind of influence. And your child might think, you know, I'm more drawn towards this side of thing. You got to understand what happens, how their mind. So all of that is, I think, to sum it up, is integration. If our parents integrated themselves, they'll be able to understand how how the system works. Some parents couldn't even tell you how the school system works, how their kids are being graded at school. They couldn't tell you what the top grade is, what the bottom grade is. They don't understand what the set system is in terms of, are you in set 1, 2, 3, 4? To them, it's just, you go to school, did you pass? Yes. Did you not pass? No. Why did you not pass?
Exactly.
That's it.
You should have passed, and
that's it. You know,
that's
so
when they hit us.
Integration, once they start getting integrated, it's going to help with moving things forward a little.
Give me another point.
Integration. So once they're integrated, all of that, I think it's an umbrella. It's going to come under that. There's going to be a lot of things. With integration, it's going to have to come communication. Yeah? With communication, I mean understanding the language.
Exactly.
Speaking English, not being angry when you're being asked to speak English. You live in the UK, yes, therefore you have a British passport. you have an obligation to be able to express yourself in the language of the country that you reside in and you have a passport in. You can't say to me you've lived there 30 years and your English is a bit of a mad one.
Well, because I know someone who they definitely enjoy themselves when they know that, oh, I have a British passport, but when it comes to speaking the language, it's another one. It's
so
really
in terms of that, I think integrate yourself, understand the language, because by understanding the language, you'll be able to unlock a lot of things.
Exactly.
You know, challenge yourself to do better in terms of go out there and do all the things that they've told you couldn't do. Yeah, do all
and
the
also
things that you
invest
couldn't
yourself
do.
in it.
Invest
really,
in yourself. Study. All these things about signing up to a university to get a loan, but getting other people to do your assignments for you whilst you get the loan and go Turkey and go China to buy stuff.
Buy things, yeah.
That era was ridiculous. You know, so I think
at some point it was so big, it's mad.
I think when you talk about integration, a lot of things come into it, you know, like, you know, going above and beyond to just, you know, not settling for less, because we're just repeating a cycle. We came here, you know, no disrespect, those things about cleaning jobs or this and that and the other, that's because at the time it was the bare minimum. But now there's so many things that you can do if you're integrated, if you speak the language, so many qualifications that you can obtain in order to better yourself.
Exactly.
So by integration, I mean, Gracie, I'm telling you, there's many avenues, there's many different things, but not to say that there's, you know, we have a lot of educated parents as well. We have a lot of educated people in our community
who do pass on the knowledge. Is crazy,
and then they're educated
really
from
good.
Back home. They're educated from back home, so they come here.
Very intellectual.
You know, very intellectual, but I'm talking about those who are refusing to.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the ones, my hat goes out to those who are practicing and, you know, doing well. What I'm talking about is those who are refusing to integrate. Those who say no, integration. So listen, you've left Congo 20 plus years ago. Do something now. Now you're here. You know,
like it's just not going backwards, but it's actually going forward.
You can still you're always going to be very Congolese. No one's going to take that from you.
Yeah,
you're always going to be very Congolese. But if you live here, you got to be able to, you know, understand the culture, understand the system, understand the language, and that will help you. That will help you better yourself, and that will help you have a better relationship with your children. You know, because when your children are talking about school, when your children are talking about school, when your children are talking about what's going on around them, you can integrate yourself.
Let me catch this caller. Hello. Good afternoon. May the Lord bless you too, Apostle Mylene. It's a pleasure to have you.
Amen. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah.
Pushing for the English book, and do you believe that there is a hope when we look at the next 10 years coming? God bless you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Apostle, for coming, for calling.
Yeah.
God bless.
Do I think there's hope?
Yeah.
That's a good question, actually. There is hope, and in a sense that, like I said to you, when I said to you earlier on, our that older generation is now coming to a stage where it's now getting older, it's not passing. There's not much they can do. They're in their 60s, they're in their late 50s, going into their 70s. So I think all the weight, all the responsibilities of making sure our children don't have the same difficulties now lays on us.
Exactly.
You know, so all of the things that we're saying, if you, me, and everyone else who thinks like you or I starts to apply certain things and refusing to make those same mistakes, and going above and beyond, so I'm pleased to say that I know, I look online, there's a lot of young Congolese homeowners now, there's a lot of young Congolese business owners, there's a lot of young Congolese entrepreneurs,
they're really pushing it.
There's a lot of young Congolese teachers, there's a lot of young Congolese really breaking the barriers and breaking the boundaries. So
absolutely,
to answer Marlene's question, yes, there is hope, because, you know, we are the ones that are going to carry this baton now to make sure that the next 10 years,
Yeah.
because in the next 10 years, by the grace of God, my son will be what, 15, 16. And by that time, he's going to be looking at me in the eye and saying, well, what are you talking to me? What have you done? You know, I couldn't tell
It's
listen,
really
I
like
couldn't-
that language.
I'm telling you, yes, there is hope, because I couldn't look at my dad and listen to him telling me, you need to do this, you need to do that, you can't do this. I couldn't even ask him, what have you done? Because he was a definition of you can't give up. I keep telling people, we've been here for less than 20 years and he's gone on to achieve what he went on to achieve. Me, whilst people were telling him he couldn't do that. In that 20 years, he was able to do his masters, go on and, you know, in the process of completing his PhD, become a senior consultant in the field, work for NHS organization for more than 10 years.
Oh, wow.
So the impossible
He
was
has a
nothing.
CV.
For someone like him, tell him and learn the language, speak it very well, and someone like him telling me you have to go and bother beyond, you can. And when I'm telling him you can't, he's telling me, why can't you? I can't look at him in the eye and ask him, what have you done? So I think that's going to be up to us. You know, a lot of children today, some children today can look at their parents and say, apart from obviously bringing us here, what else have you done? And the parents won't really have nothing to say other than
exactly, like just
blah,
be
blah,
quiet.
blah. But I think us lot now, we've had the opportunity to study, we have the opportunity to, you know, do things, open businesses, do this and that. So when we're passing it on to our children now, like, you know, much respect that I have for the Asian community, because they understood the assignment of passing on generational wealth, you know, passing on the knowledge.
Yeah, you start like already building stuff.
So I think, yes, there is hope. There is hope.
Yeah.
That, because we are the hope. We are the hope.
Yeah.
You know, with the little bit that we've learned from our parents, with the knowledge that we have, the culture and the values, and also what we've seen that they've done wrong, we're not gonna. We shouldn't make the same mistake.
Even give up.
Yeah, we shouldn't give up, and we shouldn't make the same mistake.
Absolutely. Yeah. This is question coming up to me because I've seen this man of God mention it actually, and I bless his life. I'm not gonna mention the name, right? Talking about, because you mentioned something about what's it called, family values, and when it comes to the, you know, the youth in general. So but he touched on the boys and the girls, and yourself, you are a father, so you know when it comes to raising a man, raising a boy to become a man, and raising a girl to become a woman. So he said, like, how is it that when a girl is little and they're communicating with her, teaching her all the values for her later on to become a wife in a home, but somehow, like, when it comes to the boys, they don't really communicate much with them in order for them to become the men they're supposed to be, because the men, how is, you know, it's been quote said, like, oh, they are the chief of the house, they're the leader of the house, and so on. So how can you direct or manage a household with your wife and kids if you haven't been communicated to, you know, and given the right values?
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. It's about integration. Yes, I may not have had you may not have had the opportunity to learn from your dad or from the men figures in your life, but we're in a world where today, you know, there's mentorship. You know, you can be mentored by some great men. Just because it's not your dad doesn't mean that it can't have an influence.
Absolutely.
You know, as much as my dad was a great influence in my life, in fact, a greater influence in my life, there's also other male figures that I look up to. I've got my uncle that I look up to, his older brother. I've got another man of God that I look up to, you know. There's a lot of people that I look up to that I can learn a thing or two from, you know. And because they didn't teach me that, listen, people need to stop making excuses. Once you become aware of the fact that they didn't teach you something, that's the starting point.
Thank you.
You need to then start learning. But I think to answer your question, what are we doing? Yeah, you need to have those conversations, because back in the days, a lot of it was preparing your woman to just be a housewife. Yeah. You know, learn how to cook, clean, and maintain a home. You know,
that's the main job.
But nowadays, you got to do that, and then you got your career, you got to do the other things and that as well. So I think men were just left to, you know, go and figure life out, whilst, you know, as a woman you was trained to, you know, keep her home and cook,
make it beautiful.
You know, but I think it's about, again, it goes to the great topic that you have, meeting halfway. you got to meet. We got to
You
meet
need to
halfway.
meet
So the
halfway.
men got to come with all them values, lay it here. The women come with all their values and lay it here and then meet halfway. And together, when, like I said, when you talk about meeting halfway, if this is the halfway point, if this is the halfway, I don't know if they can see.
Yeah, they can definitely see that.
Because I don't know, because I think the lower third is on the way, right?
Okay, yeah.
So if this is the halfway point, this is the man. Yeah. He comes here with all these values. Yeah. All right. And this is a woman. They come there with all their values. Together, this is much stronger. Like nothing can come in between this. Like nothing can come in between. They're really just protecting that. You know what I mean? They're working as a unit.
Synchronizing.
So they're meeting halfway. They're gonna go forward. You know, they're in sync. They're gonna go forward. But if it's just, you know, you come here and you do everything, and I'm gonna be the breadwinner, and then you're gonna just sit.
It's not working. It's not gonna work.
It's not really a team.
It's gonna fail.
Even in any organization that you have, family being in sort of establishment organization, there got to be structure. You know, and if your woman wants to work, she wants to do this and that, she got, you know, great entrepreneurial mindset. You got to see how you can support her in making sure that, you know, everything else makes sense. You know, some women love being businesswomen, entrepreneurs, and they still do their maternal stuff. Still come home, still do all of that stuff. But I think, like, to answer what Mama Alen said, in the next 10 years, this is our job now. Teach ourselves to ask ourselves, what will I teach my children? If I was to look at my son, do I want him to be exactly how I am now, or do I want him to be better?
I like that.
So that's basically how I would look at it.
I got 2 questions. The last for you. We're talking about relationship and yourself. You are in a relationship. We're talking about meeting halfway, and we're talking about communication. What are the main keys in terms of your view, how you see it, to be able to what's it called? To meet the halfway positively, moving forward. And have a great communication in terms of men, because there is so many men probably watching us right now, not just men in terms of them being married, but also single, you know, and the ones that are looking forward to get into, or even fiance. But what are the main keys that you think like makes a good communication and to be able to meet halfway and do things together? What are the main keys?
I would say, look, like, I'll be honest with you, and I know my wife is probably watching this somewhere. We're 6 years in. Going into 6 years. We're celebrating 6 years of our traditional marriage, and you know, we're going into 7 years, and before you know it, it's double figures. But I tell you something, the journey has been a learning curve. The journey has been about learning. I would say, and I've only just figured it out. I've only just figured out how to be a really good husband, how to be a really good, you know, I made mistakes, or, you know, got it wrong many ways. I wasn't a good listener. I thought it was only about me. No, you have
that
to meet
ego.
me. I wasn't meeting no one halfway. I wasn't meeting her halfway. And what did I do? I went on to got help. I got help, and, you know, and I'm grateful because that help that I got made me understand. And I'm talking about, you know, I'm talking about mentoring, I'm talking about counseling, made me understand that this is about us working as a team. We're in this together. It's not you versus me or me versus you. If I have a goal, we're working on that goal together. If you have a goal, I have to make sure and see how I'm supporting you. And so, but that's an art of communication. So I was always the talker. I always had my demands and my standards and whatnot, and I have to say I wasn't meeting her standards.
Do you think it's because maybe you're men, the men?
I don't know what it was, but whatever it was very selfish. And no relationship will survive like that. Long term, no relationship will survive if one thinks they're superior than the other. If one thinks they have the right to demand certain things, and they're not meeting. It's a contract, isn't it? You got to fulfill yours. She got to fulfill hers. So she was doing what she had to do. I wasn't doing what I had to do. So why should she then continue doing what she had to do when I wasn't doing what I had to do? So it's been about learning. It's been about going out there, understanding, and it's all been about, like I said to you, listening to her. The whole time, I have to be honest, the whole time, 4 or 5 years or 4 years, I wasn't listening to her. I wasn't listening to her. She didn't change her tone. So once I started listening to her, everything became easy. Trust me.
Oh, wow.
Everything became easy. When I mean,
so that's the key.
I'm talking about easy, and there are times where she just wants to be heard. Like, she don't want you to say anything. She just wants to be and understanding her in terms of, there's going to be times where she's not going to speak. There's going to be times where you're just watching her action and you know, okay, she wants a hug, or she wants this. She wants you to say something. All of that stuff you learn. All of that stuff you have to just put your ego aside. It takes you, that's your woman. That's your life partner. It's not going to take anything away from you for doing these things. You know what I mean? And then once I removed that, I'm not going to lie to you. Once I removed that pride, once I removed that barrier, everything was smooth. Everything was, I don't think I've had a single complaint, like, in terms of, and even like, people mention this a lot, not going to bed angry at each other.
That's
you hear the older lot. That's one thing that, you know,
they do this
because we tackled them a lot. But I think obviously you have to also be able to listen to that experience. What they're telling you is true. Not being able to go bed angry at each other, just sorting it out there and there. I'm not gonna lie to you, I can't even stay angry that long at my races anymore. It's just like, what the hell? Why am I angry? It's okay, it's fine.
Let's just
we've said what it was now. It's fine. So, and that comes with listening. And like you said, recognizing that, okay, I need help here. Let me put my ego aside. And get help. And going to get the right help. Going to get to the right people. Going to the right people for the right help. I'm sorry to say, just because that's your pastor, but they might not have experience in things that in terms of things of marriage. Yes, that's
maybe themselves, they're going through the wrong one. Like,
your elder, but they might not. So it might mean that a lot of us, I'm sorry to say, you might have to go outside of the church to get help. You might have to go to pay for counseling. It's not even that expensive.
Because it's not always, everything's not always spiritual.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just really physical.
I'm going to say this. My dad used to say this in I know I'm quoting him a lot, but I never understood it. Listen. Il y a des versets à confesser et il y a des versets à vivre. That's the first quote. So there's verses where you confess, and then the verses that you have to live by. You have to actually, it's like confessing it, yes, cool, but there's verses that you actually live it. He used to say this. You can be, les gens peuvent vous imposer les mains, les pieds, tout ça. Ça va rien changer si l'homme intérieur n'a pas changé.
Oh, Apostle, I hope you are listening to this one.
On peut vous imposer les mains, les pieds, tout ça. Si l'homme intérieur n'a pas changé.
Oh, someone is calling.
Si l'homme intérieur n'a pas changé, it's nothing.
1 second.
So, yeah.
Good evening. Yes, hello? Yeah. Hi, Coralie.
Wendy said something that is just amazing for people that are married about communication. Thank you to you, because I think you spoke about a lot of men, you know, that sometimes us women, we just want, you know, our husband and men to listen. What you said, and then, you know, be patient with us. Thank you very much.
No.
The ends of Etincelle is to give advice and sparkling couples as well. And I think that's the sparkle of the night. So thank you very much.
We're learning.
Thank you so much for calling, honestly.
Thank you.
Yes, we needed that.
Yeah, we're learning. And it's been a it's been a learning curve. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Coralie. Bye-bye.
Just learning. Learn, literally, like, in terms of, let me not lie to you. People see it nowadays as well. Instagram, people see you guys posting pictures, smiling.
But that is not what's happening.
Your woman is not happy. The man's not happy, and a lot of relationships are breaking. Why? Because, you know, instead of you being content with what you have and fixing what you have at home, you've had one little argument. This one wants to go look outside. She wants to go look outside. Then this one feels disrespected. That one, okay, like, cool. But at the end of the day, where there's love, where there's a will, there's a way.
Definitely.
Like, it's all about learning and then removing that pride and then say to each other, you know what, no matter what happens, we're going to get through this and I'm going to understand you. I always felt like my woman understood me whilst I didn't understand her. And now that I understand her, I'm not going to lie to you. Like, there's times where I'm at home and I'm just thinking like, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just because
I like that. I like that.
She feels appreciated.
Yes.
And it wasn't about gifts. It wasn't about me buying her expensive stuff. And I saw that. There was a time where I went out my way, bought an expensive gift and thought, yeah, I bought you this. You should now be silent.
Yeah, exactly.
That didn't matter because why? Hugging at night or hugging or this and that, spending quality time was worth more than that. So I could have saved.
That's a female, right?
I could have saved my money.
Yes.
And made her happy in other way. Do you know what I mean? So it's a learning. It's been hard, but
it's a long journey.
We're getting there, but we're there.
Listen, I feel like we should definitely do another part of this communication.
We're there.
But last question before we call it quit for all our viewers, and we're talking about Etincelle. It's all about sparkle. Really trying to bring enlightenment into someone's life, for wherever they're finding themselves, and be able to come out of it and really walk towards the right direction in terms of communication. Anyway, so it is a large subject. It touches a lot of things and a lot of people. You know, regardless the age and stuff. So what I wanted to ask you is, like, what kind of advice would you be able to advise someone or somebody who's not really practicing the right communication? Because right communication and goes a long way. Goes a long way. And you mentioned so many things in terms of integrating, also called really investing yourself, and then instead of speaking and so, but a deeper advice to someone who possibly needs it today, and that can probably bring
but in terms of how to be a better communicator.
Yeah, but in terms of just communication itself.
I think there's a reason why sometimes even like in the Bible where God's asking you to be still, because by being still you're able to see what's going on and take it all in and just trust that, okay, like what's going on, and you will understand that, okay, your problem may not even be that big. Your problem may not even be that much of a problem that you're making it. So what I'm trying to say, relating it to communication, what I'm trying to say is we need to get to a point where we are also good listeners. I think working at being a good listener in terms of taking information, processing that before you react. You know, taking in what you say, analyzing the environment that you're in, or analyzing what's going on. Taking in information, and then come out and say, you know what, actually, and then being able to say to yourself, have that ability to say, do you know what, I don't know this. It's very hard for
because it's like I know it all.
I don't know this.
Yes. Yeah.
Even look at the way they ask you to help them. It's like, it's not. It's like, can you help me? It's like, you don't know. You know?
Absolutely.
They just don't like accepting defeat. They don't like accepting, that they're not. I think, like I said, to go back to my advice will be, go back within yourself and start by accepting that you don't know everything. You can be educated. You can be, overqualified, but there's still going to be things that the person next to you knows that you didn't know. Every day you learn something. So by being a good listener, you're able to understand what's going on around you.
Exactly.
You're able to pick up information that you can use for your advantage, or you can then take on to pass on to others. So just be a good listener. And then also be slow in anger and slow in reacting. It's everything isn't that deep. Everything isn't really. It's really not that as much of a situation that you're making. That problem could be very, very small. But because you're not trying to listen, you're making it bigger than it is. And everyone's trying to tell you, no, it's not that. But you're stuck in your ways. So being stuck in your ways, it will be the downfall of many people. So let's learn to listen to others and listen to ourselves as well. So when you're speaking, listen to yourself. Like, what am I really saying here? And being able to stop yourself when you really, before you dig yourself a bigger hole than you're
much bigger hole.
Not only just listening to others, but listen to yourself. As a speaker, as a preacher, me as an MC, when I'm out there, there's times where I'm just like, hey, bro, you kind of move on with the program now. You're losing people, man. You're losing people. Even when we're doing the show, it's like, yeah. Wrap it up. Your guest is kind of getting bored now. Just best you wrap it up now or lift it up. You know what I mean? So listening to yourself, listening to others, and then being able to, that will help us a lot. And then integration, I keep saying it. Integration.
Very important.
So I think, again, I'm still learning. I'm not speaking here as an expert, but I'm speaking for someone who made everything about me. It was always about me. And in my selfish ways, by not listening, I ended up hurting the people that was close to me. And I'm saying people that was close and dear to me. I wasn't listening. I wanted things to be done for me and my way. It was my way or the highway. So by that, a lot of people left. You know, by that, a lot of people were hurt. And I'm talking my siblings, I'm talking, you know, whatever. But, you know, by understanding that, we were able to amend and fix those relationships.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And those who left, they weren't meant to be around. But those who, you know, are still here, God made it possible. So by not listening to others, you end up hurting people.
True.
And then eventually you end up hurting yourself.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Not just be a good speaker, but be a good listener.
Oh, wow. So you heard it from himself, the man, Randy Rats, as everyone says. Well, I like to say KABSON, Cabs in general. Like, because there's a lot of Cabs, though. Oh my God.
We're the original Cabs, man. We're the original.
Kabango.
We're the original Cabs. But you know what? It's funny because I used to be I'll tell you a joke. The whole KABSON thing came from when I came here. I was tired of spelling my name to the non-English.
Okay, yeah.
So I was tired. It was every day. I wasn't even saying my name anymore. Oh, what's your name? Randy. And it was always KABASELE.
Yeah.
KABASELE. So it got to the point where I just said, you know what? Maybe if I called myself KABSON, it will be easier for them.
Okay.
Like, it will be easier for them.
KABSON is actually easier. Just a second.
Nah, but my name's not. Yeah.
Yes. Hello. Oh, I think.
So literally that's where it came about. I was tired of spelling, but then I got to a point where I was like, no, you're gonna say my name.
Yeah.
Like, you're actually gonna say my name.
You're gonna have to say my name.
You're not gonna call me K. You're not gonna call me. Can I just call you Randy? No, you're gonna say my name. Like, my name is KABSON. That's my father's name.
That's why I'm from one though.
Yeah. My name's KABSON.
Yeah.
KABSON.
Yeah.
So I do give the English speakers a little bit of an advantage because I do realize that they don't have an in English. So I do allow them to say KABSON.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure.
My name's actually KABSON. I know they're gonna struggle with saying so I just let them get away with the E. But you're not calling me. I'm not spelling out my name for you anymore, man. So a lot of them try now. They try when they spell it. They normally do instead of a K, they put a C.
A C. Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
And then they'll spell it CABSALI.
This is
that's
long.
how they'll spell it. But they're trying. We're getting there.
Well, my name has been changed from Gracie to Gracie, so imagine.
Nah, my name's Brandy.
Crazy.
Brandy's my name. Brandy, my name. And KABSON, it works. I'll say KABSON is like the stage name, is what people know me by, and you know, it just kept it like that. Even my mum, I realized the other day she got my number saved as KABSON on her phone. I was dying. I was thinking, oh my God.
No comment. But all in everything that we just spent, I mean, the fact that we just spent this quality, amazing time with you, it was such a pleasure. I really want to say thank you, honestly. Yeah, it was not hard to say, but very honest, and this is what I appreciate, the fact that you just went open, like your heart was open, and I felt every single bit of the words and an example that you gave when it comes to you and your wife and everything else. That, I mean, communication is really a grant.
You know what? I have to big her up, you know, because like I said, if she wasn't patient, and in communication, that's another thing. There's patience as well. You have to be patient, and if she wasn't patient, I'm not gonna lie to you. I think because of lack of communication and lack of understanding, I've seen a lot of relationships break. So. I don't know, like whether, I don't know whether.
Hello.
So if we're still here, it's because she's being patient. So thanks for being patient. Thank you.
Yeah. So we are going towards the end. I'm sorry. We're going towards the end of the show, Etincelle, and then I hope that you really had your enlightenment when it comes to everything that we spoke about. We spoke about personality, listening. And people still buzzing. Okay. All right, the last word of the night. Yes, we can hear you, Apostle. Last word. Yes.
It's very important to mention here.
Yeah.
It's about the fact that Randy mentioned his father so much. So much. She's been mentioning my father did me, my father said, my father. So my sympathy, I have to mention that loud.
Oh, no.
Etincelle, we are with you.
Yeah.
We are with the family as well.
No, thank you. No, thank you so much. Thank you.
Gracias.
But I would have mentioned him same way. Like same way. This is something that I take. Yeah, same way. Same way. Yeah, it's big. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I wish so many things. I just don't dare.
Nah, no problem. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Wow, we're finally wrapping up because, hey, we're moving past the time that we were supposed to finish already, but only because the conversation and the title really of today was so juicy and it can go on and on and on. So meeting halfway, communication is key. He mentioned, he spoke about it. I can't even wrap it because he already wrapped everything up for us. I mean, so we're meeting again. Next week, same time, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Honestly, call a friend to call a friend. We're trying to bigger up Etincelle. Let Etincelle be, worldwide known. That's where we're trying to take it. The plan B, I don't know what's the plan B, but we're gonna try to figure out as we're going. But I like the fact that you guys we're all connected, and all your comments really meant the world for every single, for us. I'm here, and so thank you so much, and thank you to you as well for having
me. Like, seriously,
this is not the last time.
No, it's not. by the grace of God, we see each other again.
Definitely.
Talk about whatever else, any event that you have going on. If time allows, be here, support, and that's what I'm about. I think, like I said, to answer again, the next 10 years, it's about us uplifting Congo. I think now we can proudly say we're Congolese, and they're starting to recognize us. And I think by us uniting and lifting each other, and the world, we got to let the world know about us, and then, and so we start by being there for each other first, and then
moving forward
is good, and allowing them to see what we do together. So
and it'll be great things.
Yeah. This platform is definitely big, and it's definitely on its way to, like I said, it hasn't even reached its full potential.
Not even yet.
Already, as you can see, the professionalism, the quality of the image, the sound, the artwork, and I'm here. The place is amazing. So, like I said, it's only a matter of time, and like I said, we said patience, and everything will make sense.
I agree. I like that. By the way, Etincelle second anniversary is coming up very soon. So I hope I'm going to see you that day.
Like I said, so let me know, and then we'll
is coming.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right, we need to go. All right, we love you, and we'll see you next week, same time. Don't forget, it was Gracia Susuzande, and take care.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.